So step 2 deals with a really common issue that we face with RNS naming, which is that sometimes you're going to be comparing your atoms and you have a tie because 2 of them have identical atomic weights. Well, what do you do in that situation? Well, if you do have a tie between your atomic weights, what we're going to do is we're going to compare the next set of atoms that they're both attached to and basically have a playoff system, okay? In the playoff system, we look at the next immediate atoms that they're both attached to, and then we compare those atomic weights, and we say, well, which of these is bigger? Which of these is heavier? And that's going to be the winner. So let's go ahead and apply this to an example. First of all, I really hope that you guys can identify the chiral center here. Yeah, so you should be getting a little bit better at this. It's there. That's it, okay? And now we have to figure out, first of all, are there any issues with step 1 in terms of are we able to name these priorities easily, okay? So let's kind of just do the first step, which is just figuring out what all the atoms are. Well, notice that right away I have an issue because 2 of the atoms that are attached to my chiral center are the same. I have an oxygen and an oxygen, okay? Now, if I compare both of those in the periodic table, I'm obviously going to get equal atomic masses. So that means I'm definitely going to have to use a playoff there, no matter what. But let's continue. Maybe the other atoms, we can figure out what order they're in. Well, this is a carbon, because that's a carbon group, an R group. And ET, look that up on the periodic table. You're not going to find it, because that stands for ethyl. That really just stands for CH2, CH3. I've got another two-way tie, guys. I've got another two-way tie between this carbon and this carbon. So I'm definitely having some issues with rule number 1, okay? Now, there is one thing that we can do even before this playoff system. What I can safely say is that my oxygens are going to get positions 1 and 2, and my carbons are going to get positions 3 and 4, right? Because oxygens are bigger than carbon, okay? That's just common sense. But I don't know which order they're going to be in. In order to figure out the order, I have to use playoffs. So let's do the oxygen playoff first. This is for spots 1 and 2. So this will be my red oxygen. This will be my blue oxygen. Okay? So what is my oxygen attached to, the red one? It's attached immediately to an H. What is the blue oxygen attached to? That's immediately attached to Me. What does Me stand for? That's a methyl group, okay? So a methyl group is CH3. So it's attached to a C, okay? So in the playoff system, I look at what's in the bracket, okay? It's almost like March Madness or something, but it's just a lot more boring. And you can't win money from it, unfortunately. At least I haven't developed that way to make money yet. But which one is going to win inside of that bracket? It's going to be the carbon, because carbon is heavier than hydrogen, right? So we've got a clear winner. This is my number 1, and this is like number 2. Okay? Makes sense so far? Both my oxygens beat my carbons, but the methyl beats the H. So let's move on to the carbons. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do like a color system. This will continue to be my blue carbon. I'll make this one green. Okay? So what I want to do is that notice that for oxygen is only attached to one more thing, but carbon always has 3 bonds. So I'm going to draw all 3. So for my blue one, what are the 3 additional bonds besides the chiral center? Because you never go backwards, you only go forwards. What are the 3 atoms that carbon is attached to? Well, it's attached to one carbon on one side. Let's just say that is the left side. It's attached to another carbon on the right side. And then it's also attached to an H that wasn't drawn. So I'm going to draw that. I'm going to put that here. So that's what's in my bracket there. Those are the 3 additional atoms attached to the carbon. Now let's look at green. Okay? So green, once again, I'm not going to look at the chiral center. I'm just going to move forward. Green is attached to, well, 2 H's, because it's CH2. And then CH3, it's also attached to this carbon here. Because obviously it's a chain, right? So it needs to be attached. What we tend to do for brackets is we put the biggest atoms first. So instead of writing this as HHC, I would actually write this as CHH. And it just makes it easier to compare the brackets and see who wins. So now I know that I had a tie between the carbons. If I move into the bracket, is there a winner? Well, if you look at the first atom, there's still a tie. They're both attached to carbon. But if you look at the second set, this is where your winner is determined. Okay? It came down to the wire. It was a close game. But I'm sorry, green, you lost. All right? So that means that my blue is going to be number 3, and my green is going to be the biggest loser at number 4. And see how we systematically did that with a playoff system. Okay? So that's all there is to it. We'll practice it more, don't worry, but those are the basics.